Morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today to be able to share with you how we used our SharePoint intranet to support knowledge management at ECS. Before I start, I just wanted to ask you, who's familiar with SharePoint? Most of you. And do you have SharePoint intranets? Yes. Okay. I hope what I'll have to share with you will be interesting. What I'm going to cover today, I'll just give you a brief introduction to our company ECS and our knowledge management journey. And then most of the time I will be talking about our intranet. It's called Find, and I'll be talking to you about it in relation to the infrastructure and then behaviors and also policies and leadership. Okay, ECS is an innovative company. We are about 30 staff. We're based in Durban. We deliver productivity, energy management, and emissions management solutions. Most of our customers are large mines and also industrial customers. And those customers are throughout Africa and a lot in South America as well. And our staff, if you look at all those qualifications, they're highly qualified people, very experienced. And that's our URL at the bottom if you want to find out a bit more about us. Okay, our knowledge management journey started a very long time ago, long before there was KNSA, in 2008. And it started because we realized we needed knowledge management. And I think all of you are familiar with the reasons why a company needs knowledge management. So time was being wasted searching for information. There was lack of document control. There was no one version of the truth. There was duplication of work, loss of knowledge when people leave. And perhaps above all, we realize that our knowledge is hugely valuable. So our business, really what we do is we sell our knowledge. So it was extremely important that we did something about managing it properly. And then I'd like to read the purpose statement from our knowledge management strategy. That is to be an organization where knowledge capturing, organizing, retaining, and sharing is the way we work, to ensure sustainable business performance and to maintain and secure a strategic business advantage. I just wanted to share with you just quickly the process that we followed. So it's important to stress we didn't introduce knowledge management by introducing an intranet to our staff. We followed a step-by-step process. So first of all, we defined the business goals that KM will address. Then we performed a knowledge audit, and we took our time with that. We interviewed each member of staff, found out what they know, what they need to know, what the important knowledge is, where they get it from, what they are lacking. And then we created a knowledge map, which is really just a visual picture of the flow of knowledge between people and between departments. And then we developed our knowledge management strategy. And then only after that did we look at software that was available to see what would be best suited for us. And at that point, we selected SharePoint. It's a Microsoft product, so very much in its favor was that it was integrated with all our other Microsoft products. And then we contracted a company called Pilotfish, who helped us to implement our intranet, and we did that in stages as well. Okay, so we were very clear that knowledge management isn't about technology, but that technology can be an enabler of knowledge management. And then we were able to use the flexibility of SharePoint to work for us. So I'm sure all of you who know SharePoint, you can always find a way to solve a business need with SharePoint. So over the years, since 2008, obviously our business has changed a lot. We've had the intranet since then, and the intranet has developed as the business has developed. So where are we now? Innofund has become the way we work, and it's a tool that supports the storage, distribution, and accessibility of information. It is our central source of information and activity. And commonly heard at ECS is it on Innofund? Or send me the link. So the answer to the question, is it on Innofund, has to be yes. It can't be on your own machine or somewhere where nobody has access to it. And we have one version of the truth. We've got very good document control, and knowledge sharing is expected and it's valued. This is just a screenshot of what our landing page looks like of Innofund. I'm sure again you're all used to that look, but it's called a hero web part. You can click on any of those boxes, and then we also have a global navigation at the top with drop downs from those items. Okay, so I'm going to spend quite a bit of time talking about infrastructure. I'm going to show you examples of most of these things on the list. Basically, we have a site for each department. Each site is different according to what the department needs. And we have a site for each of our customers, each of our projects. We have a document center, which has our quality management. We are ISO 9001 certified. We have a knowledge base with all our research papers, and also a physical library search and issuing system, and an IP repository where we keep our practice notes and our after action reviews. And then we have quick links. So we use Innofund also as a gateway to other applications that we have. And we link between Microsoft Teams and Innofund. So when we launch a project, we create a SharePoint site, Innofund site, but we also create a Microsoft Teams site, and we use the Teams site for the project management, for all the talking and project planning, and then the Innofund site has all the documents. And with Teams, you can put a link from Teams to SharePoint, so that's working nicely for us. So here's what it looks like when you click on departments. So you have a quick link to each of our departments, and in the example here you can see if you want to go to human resources, you then get to their page with all the libraries that they are using. Our customer lists are similar. We offer a lot of different solutions to our customers. So for each customer, each solution, we have a customer list. So in this case, EMS stands for Energy Management Services. You click on that, you get all the customers that get that solution. And then if you click on one of those customers, that is what one of our customer pages looks like. So on that page, we have everything that we ever have done with that customer. The reports we've issued, all our contract management, scoping documents, proposals, everything. And also our data acquisition and analysis. Then we have project sites. So each project is launched as a separate job that we do. And again, from our project list, you can then click on whichever project you want, and you are on a site where everything to do with only that project can be found. Our document center, we have a number of useful libraries there. Our quality management system, as I mentioned, is there. We also have a library of templates. So any document that you might need to write, if you go to the templates library, you'll find a template and it's all set out for you to use. We also have an images library for our marketing and sales, all our logos, things like that. And then we have a library that is called Building Blocks. And that's been quite useful for us. It's really a library of individual items that you can reuse in different applications. So it could be a nice infographic, it could be a table, a diagram, a slide. So we've created that library for people to then just take what they need from there for whatever document they need. And there's an example of contract management. So if you click on that, you can see from the thumbnails what those documents look like. And you can then just copy and paste into your presentation or whatever it is. Then we have an acronym finder wiki. It's very useful for new staff because we do use a lot of acronyms. And it's easy to create, and you just click on it, and then you get more information, and you get what the acronym stands for. Another nice feature of SharePoint is the frequently asked questions. So this is an example. Again, it's built especially for new staff. Very easy to use, and you just click on the little chevron to get more information, and it will take you to a link to the document or whatever it might be. This is another quite nice feature. I created that because new staff, when they come, they have to very quickly get to know everybody and what their titles are. So here's a nice employee directory with the name and the title. Easy to do and easy to remove and add new ones if you need to. Then we have a thing called customer feedback. So what we used to do was send out customer satisfaction surveys, and those are always very difficult to get back. Customers don't want to fill them in and don't fill them in properly. So we decided to capture the feedback ourselves, and I created this list. Well, it's got lots of features in it, but it covers everything that we need to capture about our interactions with customers. So if you look, the interactions could be anything. It could be a conversation, a telephone call, a Teams meeting, a site visit, whatever interaction we had with our customers. And then it's got the people picker, so you can find your name and whoever was involved from ECS, and then capture what they said. And then there's other fields like, was it positive or negative? Do we need to follow up or not? So this has been extremely useful for us, because now everybody who has some feedback can capture it, and we've got it there. These are the quick links that we have on our landing page. So what we did was, we've been through a process of trying to become more paperless. So we created Power Apps for a lot of the things that used to be in paper form. So our leave application, our job profiles, our personal development plans, project registrations, all those things are Power Apps. So these, the ones with the little red dots, are Power Apps, but you go to InnerFind, and from there it takes you to the Power App. So that's also been a useful thing. Another great feature of SharePoint, I'm sure you will agree, is the version history. So that you can look at all the previous versions of a document from the minute it was uploaded. You can see who's worked on it. If you want to, you can look at the old versions to see what they did. You can have comments. You can view and restore previous versions if you need to. And then just other things with SharePoint is like formatting options. You can use those color fills. You can, all those columns, you can decide what they should be. You can sort by them. As you can see there, that's our list, and you can see what's not started or active, and then you could sort by that. Just little features, but they do make it very useful. Okay, behaviors. Is it unidentified? So that's, as I mentioned, one of the questions we ask each other. And we will always send each other a link to a document. We never send a document. So the document remains unidentified and people work on it there. We have another useful thing called a document number generator. I'm going to show you what that looks like, but basically it gives a document a unique number and it gives it the correct naming convention. And then we write practice notes where we document what we know about things, how we do calculations, how we do our analysis. We do after action reviews after our large projects, and then we document that. So those all go into our IP library. We have monthly open coffee meetings. We call it open coffee. It's just a 1 hour a month. And we'll have one of our teams talking about what they're working on, sharing what they're doing so that everybody understands better what everybody else is doing. And then sometimes we will also have external speakers. And then we also have what we call external SharePoint sites. So those are a completely different site collection, but we create that site for a customer and we give them permissions to it. And it's been very useful to share large documents, to work on documents with our customers. And obviously staff training, we do extensive training, especially with new staff, but then also with refresher training. This is what our document number generator looks like. So it's a very simple app. Just put in the name of your document, what kind of document it is, and we work on a customer code system, and then it will run and give you the unique number for your document in the right naming convention. So then you just copy that and paste it in when you upload your document. It also makes it very, very easy to find documents later if they have a unique number. This is what one of our external SharePoint sites looks like. And then policies and leadership. I'm sure you are all aware that management support is essential. We luckily had that, and they wouldn't accept the wrong behavior. So if somebody was emailing them a document, they wouldn't accept it. They had to get the link. And then our knowledge management is part of our quality management system. I'll show you an example of that just now. But it also includes work instructions and procedures. All our procedures are documented as well. And then we have a mentorship program. So a new staff member will have a mentor for a year, and they go through regular assessments, feedback. They get asked about knowledge sharing. And then we constantly talk about knowledge sharing. From the minute they join us, that's what they hear. So it starts to become part of the way they think. And we do believe in training each other because that really is the best way to share. And then it's very important to have a custodian for the governance of Enterfind. And that's what I do. If you don't watch what people are doing, it can become a big file share mess in a very quick space of time. So, for example, people are not allowed to create folders. They have to ask me if they need a folder. And then just generally making sure everything is correctly uploaded, they're putting it in the right place, things like that. This is an example of how quality management and knowledge management are linked. So this is our motivation for training document. So that's where you say why you want to go for training and all the details. And then you can see at the end, it says knowledge gain for ECS and how are you going to share that knowledge when you get back. And you have to say how you're going to do it, and you have to do it when you get back. So that's a good integration of the two. And then to end, as I said, it's important to have a knowledge manager to drive knowledge management all the time and to manage the intranet. Keep reinforcing the idea of knowledge management and make it a requirement. Train regularly, and it's helpful to force the use, like the document number generator has been extremely useful for us. And really, we have benefited immeasurably by having InnoFound. We can't even conceive of not having it. It's really part of the way we work. So it's not going to solve all your problems to have an intranet, but it certainly supports knowledge management. And nobody wrote anything down. Looks like we're sunk. And that's not ECS, which I'm happy to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Annemarie. Take 3 questions, starting now. Okay, see one. Sweet and short.
Thanks, Annemarie. Mine is a simple question, I hope. You've got the DNG, which is your document generator. And then I assume you also have a SharePoint unique ID.
We don't.
Thank you. Have you implemented document loss prevention?
What do you mean by that?
In terms of classification of the documents with metadata that you're able to track its movement across the network or externally?
No. I mean, once it's on InnoFound, you don't really need to track it. It stays where it is.
So this applies to internal documents only?
Everything that we work on, all our documents are on InnoFound. So we never lose them after that. We always know where they are, and they don't actually move much.
The control of sensitivity in sharing, how is that defined?
Okay, there's a whole permissions thing with SharePoint. So we have groups, and sites as well have specific permissions. So you can actually be very specific as to what people have access to. But we do, like human resources, only the HR people have access and the directors. So, and for a specific document or folder, we also do permissions if we need to. Yeah.
Question number last.
Thank you. Good morning, colleagues. Annemarie, thanks so much for such insightful presentation. I have a question, but I'll perhaps maybe put in context this way. My observation is that knowledge management in South Africa, both in public and private companies, is still largely underdeveloped. And we have seen information management, document management tools and systems that are being sold as knowledge management. And that is worrying. Probably that identity crisis is what we are sitting with here as we're gathering here. And that's the reason perhaps maybe, we're not being taken serious in terms of articulating the secondary proposition of knowledge management within organization. What is your take in terms of unpacking this identity crisis? Thank you.
Sure, that's a hard one. I think with knowledge management, I always think of something Nick Milton said. He said, knowledge management is what you do when you realize the importance of knowledge. So it can be all sorts of things, and we use all sorts of tools. We have to remember the purpose of why we're doing it, to support the business goals of the business. But I think, as Vincent said earlier, there's many ways to do it. And it has to suit the needs of each organization. But I mean, the fact that we're all here and that there's KMSA is a very positive thing already.
I'm going to take an online question from Joe Dreyer. Hi, Annemarie. Did you also create a taxonomy for this KM use case in Chile?
Or
So overall taxonomy for your document structure.
we did decide right in the beginning the structure of the whole intranet, and that involves the documents and the libraries. Right at the beginning, yes, we did.
Okay, take a last one.
Hi, Annemarie. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'd like to find out in terms of the change management process that you guys applied in trying to get people to support InnerFind. You mentioned obviously that you've got management support. Did you go any further, maybe to embed or include KM as a KPI for each individual so that there is something that, they're benefiting, so to speak, or that's tracking that they are complying? How did you manage, that change and also ensure that, you've got people who are utilizing it and utilizing it appropriately? Thank you.
It's a big thing, the change management, and it wasn't all easy. I think I made it sound like it was very easy, and it wasn't. There were times I think I was in tears at some points. Change management. We did. The managers were very helpful in that, but we did have quite a bit of resistance. What can I say? It's now that we've got to quite a maturity stage. So this was like 17 years ago that we really had the difficult time because it's become very established now. But I can have a chat with you with more detail and give you more detail.
Okay, Annemarie, thank you very much. A round of applause, please.